If you enjoy this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for just $5 a month. Click on the card in the upper right-hand corner for more information. Guys, I got something really cool for you today. Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media, and today we have a really awesome new startup project. I love to cover these new startup audio tech companies because it's always really cool and always game-changing to my workflow whenever I get hardware like this. To start things off, let's go ahead and get this guy open. I'm really excited to check this out. I've been waiting so long for a product like this, and you're about to find out why in a moment. What's inside? What's inside the box? Did you hear that? I think I detect something cool. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing. I'm gonna switch over to my webcam to do so right now. Sorry for the lack of a better angle here. If my cat jumps up here during the recording process, say hi to my cat, Juno. All right, like I said in the introduction, these audio technology startup companies are some of my favorite reviews to do because they're always so innovative and cool. Really brings to mind Phonic Mind when it first came out. It was like an AI vocal separation plugin, or I guess website, that would basically spit out an acapella whenever you sent in a song, and that was so game-changing to me. This is giving me mad vibes like that. So inside the box we have the Vochlea Music Dubler. It's a new audio tech company that created a microphone. I actually saw this at NAMM this past year, and you can sing the melodies that you want to perform as if you were playing them on a keyboard. I've seen this a lot where you can sing into your microphone and you get like an instrument that's controlled by your voice, but I've never seen someone convert your voice into a full-on Midi controller before, which I think is pretty cool, new, and innovative, and I think it's going to change the game for a lot of people that are musically inclined but lack the technical prowess to, let's say, spit out a melody by clicking it in Midi or, you know, writing it out on a keyboard because they don't have the music theory knowledge, or they just, you know, it's easier for them to sing. I think almost every person with any like musical prowess at all, or at least sense of musicality, can sing a melody even when they're first getting started. Like if I was first hopping into Ableton the first 20 minutes, I probably could conceptualize a melody even if I didn't know the software per se. It would probably be very hard for me to translate what is in my head to the grid. Whereas this is gonna take that out, take that step of learning how to use a MIDI grid out for the absolute beginner. It may not remove it for everyone, and it's also not going to replace a MIDI grid layout like in a MIDI clip, but I think it's a very powerful tool for those who just kind of want to get the ideas out of their head onto the MIDI clip immediately. I know I'm just kind of rambling while holding the thing. Let's go ahead and get this thing open. Okay, there we go. Dubler Studio Kit, and it has the information on the back here. I think I'll put a scan of this on the screen so you can see it as I'm reading this. Download the latest Dubler software. Install Dubler and click register. Follow this QR code to find our step-by-step guides for setting up your DAW, achieving low latency, Dubler tutorials, and more. It says say hello on social media. Really incredible design. I think good design is a really good sign for a startup. So many audio brands in general have no sense of design. There's this distinction between like design and product design. A lot of startup companies have like good ideas, good product, but they don't have the marketing design direction to, you know, support it. I think this is a really good sign. Let's go ahead and get this guy out. Here's the microphone, as you can see. Nice. Vochlea. And it is a USB microphone with the format of an XLR microphone. So when I looked at the bottom of this, I expected an XLR, but in fact it is a USB type B port. So we're going to hope that there's a USB cable in here. I'm assuming there will be. Yep, there it is. 2 stickers. I always appreciate that with companies like this. Good, mad props. We do stickers with every Graydient release. I'm wearing the Graydient shirt, and if you want to check out our latest compilation, you can check it out in the description as well. That's my company, which is a audio and art company, and we do a yearly compilation. This one is called Colors, and you can go check that out in the description. But this video is not about colors. This is about the Vochlea Dubler. I'm gonna really quickly install the software for this bad boy, and we'll jump right back into it. Bada bing, bada boom. Just so you know, guys, the installation is super seamless here on Mac. Just drag it in. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm gonna go ahead and launch the app. We have to grant access to the microphone, and I have to sign in really quick. I'm gonna create an account, and then we'll jump right back into it. This is a long code. All right, we're good. Bam, log in, awesome. So we just signed up for an account here. We're gonna skip all this, and we're just gonna do agree. All right, create a new profile. This is the main interface of Dubler. I have to plug in the microphone, obviously, so USB cable, microphone. I can't get over that USB-B on the bottom of like an XLR mic body format. It's so funny. All right, so we are totally getting signal through now, as you can see here. To get started, all we have to do is connect our Ableton to this. I'm gonna do that really quick. We're gonna go to Live Preferences, Midi, and then we're going to do Dubler. Make sure it's on. And then, as you can see, if I put all channels and then I do in, we are now getting MIDI input from Dubler into Serum. So yeah, it doesn't really do much when I'm just talking, but as I'm singing, you'll hear it become more useful. All right, so very painless setup. I'm just gonna mute this right now because it's really annoying. But as you can see, we have the MIDI dot here in live. We're getting signal from Vochlea, and it's sending MIDI. So there's two ways we can use this program, and the way that I think most people will use this, and kind of its biggest selling point, is the pitch detection. That's to say, if I sing a note, it'll detect it in MIDI and then spit it out into live so I can play, you know, a keyboard with my voice. There's also a second mode to this, which is kind of like a pseudo beatboxer drum machine mode, which is trigger mode. So if we press plus, we can add drums and we can train it to hear a specific sound. Like if I made a beatbox kick, and then we can assign that to a drum in live. Let's go ahead and set up an instrument rack here. I'm just gonna take a 808 kit, just the stock built-in one. And then we can basically add up to 8 drums, which is like syllables of the mouth. So if I make like a kick drum sound, it'll trigger one sound in our drum kit in live. And if I make another sound, it'll make another sound in live. So you can essentially beatbox your drum patterns. I make house music, and house music is pretty one-dimensional with our drums. It's generally a kick and a clap. It would probably take me longer to assign this than to actually, you know, plug in a quarter note kick. But for genres like lo-fi, where you want a little bit more swing or a little bit more off the grid feeling, very Jay Dilla style, it would be really, really cool to use your voice as like a drum machine trigger. Let's go ahead and check out this setup process here. All you have to do, like I said, I'll redo it. You press plus, you go to the drum, and then you basically decide what you want to trigger. By default, it's triggering channel 10 on the MIDI trigger. Ableton Live here, I have it set up to all ins, which is essentially taking all my MIDI ins. I can set it to Dubler, and then I can set it to channel 10 if I really wanted to be specific. The reason I want to do this is because I want to make sure that, you know, when I start sending pitch data, it's not going to trigger my drums as well. By default, it's sending to channel 10, that's good. And then we're sending to 36C1. So wherever that note is in our drum rack here, that's what we're triggering. All you have to do is press the train button and then make the beat with your voice. Okay, and then if you click out of the editor, now when I make that voice, as you can see, it's triggering my kick drum. And then you can go ahead and add in a second drum if you want. So this one could be a, you know, let's make it a clap. And then we're gonna train it to a, and then as you can see, if we click out, then we have a, and then a. It can get more nuanced than this. Like, you don't have to do only your drums. You could be triggering like a pluck with your voice, but I think that that lends itself better to the control panel on the right here for the pitch control stuff. It's very easy. You know, I can just go in here and just beatbox like a, yeah, obviously if I trained a hi-hat, I could program that at the same time, but it's gonna make it really easy for people that, you know, don't have experience, you know, with a MIDI clip like this. to just dive into Ableton, turn on the metronome, and start making music. I think the main thing that people will buy this for and buy into it is the pitch tracking, the ability to sing a melody, have it instantaneously converted into MIDI trigger. I think is so powerful, and most people will probably use this for that. That's going to be my predominant use case for this. Let's see what happens when I sing a melody. Whoa, whoa. As you can see, it detects the key that I sang in. This is obviously to a degree of error, but to remedy that, you can select the notes that you don't want to be voiced. So by what I just sang, that da, da, it detected a C major. But let's say I didn't want it to be a C major and I wanted it to be something a little bit different. I can go ahead and disable the notes that I don't want to appear. So if I don't want the C to be in there, I can actually just disable that. And I can disable, let's just say, an E. I'm not a music theory guru. I don't have all my scales memorized, so I couldn't tell you exactly what key this is. But as you can see, you can very easily disable the notes that you want. So if your song calls for a scale that doesn't have an E in there, but you want the D and the D sharp for whatever reason to appear along with the C sharp, you can do that here as well. So I can enable the C sharp, the D, and then the D sharp if I wanted to. It also makes scale suggestions here. So let's just say I engage all of the white keys and I turn off all the black keys. As you can see, it is now hinting at C major. It also could be minor if we switch to A minor. As you can see, A minor is the relative minor of C major. Also, if you don't want all that responsibility of plugging in the scales yourself, you can select the scale that you want to sing in down here. I would generally use major, minor, pentatonic, major, or minor pentatonic, just because a chromatic scale contains all 12 notes of the Western scale, meaning that you're going to have notes that appear out of the key of your song so long as you're writing in a traditional Western scale. Generally, for a beginner musician, you don't want to use that chromatic function because you're going to end up with a lot of notes that aren't in the key of the song, so I encourage you to try just using this with a dedicated key. I can see that being so powerful for someone who just wants to get an idea out quickly, myself included. Rather than dealing with a keyboard or an Ableton push or some sort of MIDI interface like this and plugging notes in, just the ability to sing in an idea quickly, I think, is so powerful and going to change the game for me and a lot of other musicians that, just want to get an idea out quickly. I'm not adept at music theory, and I do play a decent amount of piano, and I'm very familiar with a MIDI piano roll over the years. I've been doing this for, over almost 2 decades now. But something really, really special about singing in a melody and having it there immediately after without having to do any forethought. It's almost like in the tech world when they brought upon voice-activated typing. If I have a lengthy idea that I want to get across without having to, go in and use my hands and type it out, it's much easier for me to vocalize it and speak it and then have, Siri or Google or what have you take that and convert it into type. And I think that this is like the music version of that. It's a much easier format for me to get my ideas from my head onto, what is my project file. I think this is the start of a revolution in music. I think the next curve of this, the inevitable curve of this, is going to be some sort of like brain control. I think of a melody and it's already there, but I think this is the next step. It's removing the need to play something with my fingers in a similar way that, talk to type on iPhone or Mac OS or what have you, revolutionized the way we can get type down. Or like we can speak to turn on the lights or to automate things in our home. I think this is essentially a version of that's going to change a lot of things in the audio world. I think this is one of the biggest leaps in audio technology for potentially the past decade. There's been a lot of incremental improvements in DSP and DAW technology, plugins, and audio fidelity, but this is a huge breakthrough as far as control mechanisms go. There's been a lot of attempts to like integrate VR and things like that, but I think this is actually very viable in day-to-day use for many musicians that want to get their ideas out quickly. If I'm writing a song and I have an idea in my head immediately, sometimes I have to pause the song and, you know, think about it, and then, okay, that, you know, clap it out, count it out in my head before I can go and plug in the notes, because I have to subdivide it and apply it to the grid. But if I can just sing it and get a, you know, loose idea of what I need just based on that, it eliminates that need entirely, and I can just quickly get an idea out there. It's going to make my workflow more efficient. It's going to make my writing process faster, and this is technology, I think, that's on the cutting edge, and I think it's only up from here, guys. This is the first phase of, you know, something really cool where we can visualize music in our head and have it become reality. This is the next revolution in audio. This is so cool. That's sick. I have it on chromatic mode so that it's like, you know, it can detect every pitch that I'm singing, but it's probably not the most applicable way to use this. La da 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 da. Ah. I think with a little bit of practice, I'll get really good at this. It's harder to sing with auto-tune because it corrects you to exactly the note, and if you're slightly sharp, you know, it's going to correct it to a slightly sharp note, and that is not what I want. So I'll definitely have to lock it to a key for now. There's also some like next level features in here where you can use the type of sound you make with your mouth, essentially like an A or an E or an oo, and you can use that for automation. So like if I say an A, it plays a different instrument, or it does this thing with a filter or something like that. I don't want to get too deep into that in this video. I'm sure there's other videos from Vochlea that cover all of that, but I just wanted to show you how innovative and cool this is. I'm a true believer that this is going to be revolutionary for so many people, especially the beginners that really want to get into music that, you know, don't have that learning curve yet. And I think even for the beginners that start using this, once you start recording it into Midi format like we did a minute ago, it's very easy to see, like, this should be here or this should be here. You know, it's easy to figure out the MIDI grid once you actually have some MIDI in there. But for some people, when they're first learning, it's hard for them to grasp, you know, what is an eighth note, what is a quarter note, and what notes fit together in a grid. I think this is going to be a really powerful thing, guys. If you guys want to check this out, the link is going to be in the description of this video. Again, I'm really floored. This is one of the coolest new tech startups in audio tech, in my opinion. The interface design is beautiful. Whoever's doing the design is impeccable, and the program is like next level. So go ahead and check it out for yourself. I don't think you actually need this microphone to use it. I don't know if they sell just the software, but I've seen on their site you can actually use a microphone of your own, just to a lesser level of precision. So anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think of the Vochlea Dubler. This is really, really crazy. I think it's one of the coolest innovations. Do you agree? Do you think that this is the future of music recording? Let me know down in the comment section below. Hey guys, I forgot to mention, if you want to pick up the Dubler for yourself, use code Julian Gray at checkout for free shipping and to give us a small kickback of the order. It helps the channel and it helps me immensely. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to go and check out my Patreon account if you want more videos like this, and make sure to subscribe to see those aforementioned videos that will come inevitably in the future. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Julian of Julian Gray Media. This has been a really, really cool and mind-blowing exercise, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.